Welcome back to another episode of Bucket List Living with Brad Norwood. I'm your host, Brad Norwood, and hey, happy Masters Thursday. Oh my goodness, it's Christmas in April for me. In fact, what a better week than to have Easter Sunday followed by Masters Week. It is by far my favorite time of the year. As you know, those of you that know me well, we did our first trip in 2015 and did that on a chartered plane. He used to take 50 people at a time, one day, there and back, 50 people on a big chartered plane. And I was reminded this week on a Facebook memory, actually, of the stress level that was involved with that. It had long been said, well, you just can't get tickets to the Masters. And that still is very true to this day. But we found a way in 2015. And there was a lot of things that happened behind the scenes with that trip. And we might get into that a little bit on today's episode. But then to go 2016, we did it again. 2017, we did it yet again. And yet another story of the stress level, the risk factor of being able to do that trip in a day when we hit terrible storms and had to divert the aircraft coming home. Many of you may have heard that story before as I shared it on the Intentional Encourager podcast with Brian Sexton. I told that story on his podcast, and I've told it through various forms of social media before. We might get into that too, but just a blessing to look back and remember from 2015 all the way up until today how blessed our business has been to be able to go to the Masters each and every year, with the exception of 2020. This year is very different because of 2020. 2020, the Masters was played in November. This year, we're back on track, but the crowds are reduced. And I can tell you that the partnership that I have with the ticket broker that I have, we normally have access to over 400 tickets per day. And this year in 2021, as we try to make up for 2020, the crowds were reduced, the tickets were reduced, and we only had access to 30 tickets this year. Just amazing. But we were there Monday, in and out with 8 clients of mine. We took them on the private jet trip, left Northwest Arkansas at 5:30. We were in the gates local time at Augusta by 9:30. I don't know if there has ever been a better day at Augusta National when I've been there. And I tell people this all the time. Augusta National is a place that you can go, and for some reason, it just seems to be better and better every time we go. Now, when I was there in 2019, the weather was bad and it was swampy. It was so wet. In fact, the course was closed one day that I was on the course with a couple of large groups. The course was closed that morning because of the torrential rains, but it opened up that afternoon and oh my goodness, it was swampy. I actually ruined a pair of shoes because of the green dye that was on the chat gravel that they bring in. They don't want any mud at Augusta National, but it turned to mud. And I remember thinking to myself then, boy, oh boy, this is a beautiful place, but I sure would hate it if this would be my first trip here and maybe my only trip, because you didn't get to experience the true beauty that is Augusta National. The azaleas were beat by the storms. The ropes were significant. You could only go on the perimeter of the golf course. There was hardly any access to Amen Corner. It just wasn't the trip that it was meant to be, the place that it was meant to be because of the rain. But boy, oh boy, and then missing 2020 and walking through those gates on Monday was just a special, special feeling. I swear the grass was greener. The azaleas have never been in full bloom at such perfect time. And as you can watch on TV this weekend, the place looks immaculate. Now it's different this year. Again, the crowds are smaller. If you'll notice, there's no grandstands this year. And so we were able to stand in places where people really have never had the chance to stand. And it was an incredible experience. Again, the trip of a lifetime with people that I took. And so I know on Bucket List Living with Brad Norwood, we normally talk about bucket list coaching, and we don't talk about travel and experiences very much because that's only one step of the My Bucket List life plan is travel and experiences. But I tell you, it's too special not to share with you. Each and every year is to take that bucket list trip to Augusta National and go watch the Masters. I'm going to share with you for those that are watching. I want to share my screen, and you may have seen this online on some of my social media this week. But how about this picture that we were able to take? Front row, 18 tee box with Boom Boom himself, Freddie Couples. That's Max Homa over in the left hand side. Xander Schauffele is on the tee currently as the picture was being taken, and then Patrick Cantlay was in the group as well. And what a premier group for a Monday practice round to be able to watch these guys. And Freddie has been one of my favorites forever, my entire life, and am just so awesome to be able to be right there on the front row of the ropes and watch him. So I wanted to share that experience with you today and why it was so special. We're going to dig back into that first year of 2015 that we took 50 people over on a chartered plane. And there's so many things that go on behind the scenes that play even into this year. You know, it is extremely hard to get tickets, but we have a process that we work, and we know the people personally that we get our tickets from. These tickets come from members, they come from various volunteers, patrons that have been patrons of the course, and their family have been patrons of Augusta National for years and years and years. And we have relationships with them, and they allow us to use their tickets. And it's something that is taken very seriously by us, and we relay that to our customers. And we ask that they take it very seriously as well. It definitely is a privilege to be able to go through the gates of Augusta National. No matter how much or how little you may spend on a ticket, it is a privilege to be able to walk through those gates with a ticket and or a badge. And so in 2015, while we got the 50 people through successfully, we had to learn the lesson the hard way that behind the scenes in the ticket broker world, it's not all fun and games. It's a very cutthroat business. And in fact, riding over on that aircraft that Tuesday morning, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, what if half of these tickets that I have received are not any good because I didn't have a relationship with the person that had provided those tickets? Luckily, they were good. Later in the week, we had some that weren't, and it was very, very different. But we've gotten better and better at the process. We've developed more and more relationships. And so Monday, as we're on the course now with the reduced crowds, me from being behind the scenes, it felt like every green jacket, every blue coat was staring at me, trying to read a ticket number. Because, see, there's a process there where I can look at your ticket and I can look at the ticket of the person standing next to you, and I can tell that you've purchased those tickets online, or I can tell if you've got them from a respectable volunteer, member, or patron. There's a secret code there, and it takes years and years of, again, relationships, dedication to the process to know how all that works. And those green coats, they know exactly how it works. And when they spot just that little circumstance where they know someone has purchased these tickets online through an unauthorized person, then they're going to remove you from the golf course. And I see it happen each and every year. And so Monday with the small crowds, I was just a nervous wreck inside, hoping that our big group, even though we were paired correctly, that our big group would not be asked who provided our tickets, because we just don't like to share that information if we don't have to. But we made it through the day. It was incredible, an incredible experience to be able to be there basically alone. Felt like we had the place to ourselves. It was amazing. And all 8 of the guys that went along on the trip had roaring reviews. They loved it, had a great time, and Augusta National never disappoints. So if you haven't been, I'm going to encourage you to reach out to me, and I would love to provide that experience for you. I do private jet trips from anywhere in the country. We can put you on a private jet. And from most places in the country, we can fly you there and back in one day. But here's the best part: you don't have to go for just one day. That's a unique trip that I created starting back in 2015 and have made it even more special now. But what's even better is through the relationships that I've developed, we have an entire cul-de-sac of homes that we rent out for the week. And I would love nothing more than for you and your guests, your family, your friends, your clients, your sales team, your team from work, whoever it might be, whether you use this as truly a bucket list trip or even an incentive trip or just a vacation to get away and check that one more thing off of your bucket list. I would love nothing more than for you to reach out to me and come and stay in these beautiful houses that we rent out for the week. And we'll put you and your friends and family up, and you will want for absolutely nothing from rides to the golf course every day, transportation to the golf course each and every day, breakfast, dinner, buffets at hospitality, top shelf bars, cigar lounges. I mean, you name it, and we've got it. It's an incredible, incredible experience. And so, as we say in the bucket list life plan, life is simply too short to start waiting for tomorrow, because today is the tomorrow you talked about yesterday. And so don't say, well, one day I'm going to get there. You can reach out to me now and we'll put you on a payment plan, and we can make that one day the very next time that they offer the Masters tournament. And that is in April of 2022. The dates are the week of April 4th through the 11th. Monday, April 4th, the practice rounds will begin. And on Sunday, April 11th, another green jacket will don another Masters champion, and you can be there to experience it. Just reach out to me, Brad at dreamitpro.com. I even love it when you call or text my cell phone. I'm always open to all of my customers. 479 466 6907, or simply online, dreamitpro.com. You can find the events tab and click on Masters, fill out the form, and I will be directly in touch with you to create and craft an experience unlike any other for you, your friends, family, your team, whoever it may be. Each package is 100% customized. I don't just sell a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday package and say, come for this price, because I want you to know what house you're going to stay in. I want you to know what the transportation is going to look like, whether you drive yourself to town, fly yourself commercially, or we pick you up on that private jet. It's all up to you, all the way down to what type of food and beverage would you like stocked in the refrigerator as you walk in to your home away from home in Augusta National. And so again, I encourage you, don't wait. I'm home this year because of a unique year. I'm not in Augusta right now. I'm back home because we only got to go for one day this year due to the lack of tickets. And so I'm here booking 2022 packages this week. And I, again, encourage you to reach out to me, Brad at dreamitpro.com or 479 466 6907. And let's give you the trip of a lifetime at Augusta National in 2022. Until I see you next time, remember, the bucket list life is a life worth living.